Hi, I'm Laurens. I'm the product owner for the VPS product at TeamBlue. And today I'm going to run you through OpenClaw, purchasing a VPS with OpenClaw installed on it and configuring OpenClaw. So let's go. When I hover my mouse over the server section and I click the OpenClaw link, I'll be greeted with a landing page for OpenClaw. OpenClaw is an AI assistant used to execute tasks for you. So when we scroll down, you see this button right here. It says choose the right VPS for your OpenClaw. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to order a VPS to install OpenClaw on it. Here we're going to choose the X4 spec. With anything computers and server related, the better the specifications that you choose here, the better the performance of the applications that you're going to run on it. In this case, we're going to choose an X4. Monthly payments. These specifications look good to me, so I'm going to click purchase now. I'll be taken to a final overview of the shopping cart where I'm going to click I have read and agreed to the terms and conditions, and I'm going to click on continue. So we're now in the client area and under your products it says that there's an X4 VPS waiting to be activated. I'm going to click that. It'll ask me for an alias, so I'm going to give it a name. In this case, my OpenClaw. I'm going to click activate your product. As you can see, the product activation has been successfully completed and we can now proceed to the dashboard. Here over at the dashboard, you see a VPS listed and it's called My OpenClaw. So we're going to open that and it's going to prompt us to install our operating system. Here we'll choose OpenClaw because that's what we're talking about today. We're going to scroll down. Here we get to choose between SSH keys or cloud config. We're going to choose SSH keys and we're going to choose a username that we're going to use on the VPS. I'm going to choose dev for developer and I'll have to put in a public SSH key. So that once the VPS has been provisioned, installed and configured, I can use a local application, a terminal application to connect to this particular VPS using that SSH key. To do so, we're going over to the terminal. Depending on your operating system, you'll have to use either one or another application. On macOS, there's an application called Terminal or maybe Ghosty. On Windows, you might choose Putty, and on your Linux distribution, it depends. Usually you can right-click on one of your desktop environments and there will be a terminal option to open a new terminal window. So over here in the command line, I'm going to generate a new SSH key for this particular OpenClaw VPS. To do so, I type SSH-key gen and press enter. Here it'll ask me where I want to save my key. So this is the default. This looks fine to me. I'm going to press enter. Do you want to overwrite? Yes, because I want to generate a new key. And this is where I get to choose a password for my key. So I'm going to come up with one. And it'll show me this funny image, a random art. This is you can basically ignore this. The key has been generated and now we're going to look it up. So that requires that we get this path that's listed here. Your public key has been saved here. Be mindful that you choose the public key and not this one, the identification, because this is your private key. And that one is very important to keep secure. So we're going to type cat space and then we're going to paste the public key. This is what we're going to copy and paste right here. Then we scroll back up, we check our specifications, 4 vCPUs, 4 gigs of memory, 150 gigs of storage, looks good to me. I click reinstall OS. Are you sure? Yes, I am very sure. And off it goes. So now we wait until the VPS is installing. All right, I just refreshed the page and I'm greeted with this console screen. You can click in it, type something to confirm that it's working. This basically means that the installation has been successful. So I'm going to head over to my terminal application. And this is where I'm going to connect over SSH to the VPS. I'm going to type SSH space dev, because that's the username that we just chose. I'm going to paste the IP address. I'm going to press enter to connect. This is where you'll be greeted with this warning. And it's going to ask you, are you sure you want to connect to this server? And I'm going to type yes. And I'm going to type the passphrase that we just chose for the SSH key that we generated. Going to press enter, and you'll see that it's connected. Here it says that it's installing OpenClaw as we speak. And you'll see a few other things about your VPS. So the memory, the operating system, Ubuntu 24.04. Its IP address again. So now we're going to wait for the installer to complete. All right, the installer has been completed and we're now greeted with the onboarding wizard. This is a security disclaimer. It basically says, well, handing over control over some things to an AI assistant can be dangerous. Please make sure that you know what you're doing. Well, that's what I'm for today. So we're going to head over to yes with the arrow keys and press enter. Now it's asking us for the setup mode. We are going to choose quick start because that will use sensible defaults. Next, it will ask us what LLM provider we want to use for OpenClaw. In this case, I'm going to use Anthropic because I want to use my Claude API key. I'm going to the API key and I'm going to press enter. Here I'm prompted to fill that out. So I'm going over here. This is an environment that's specific to Anthropic and Claude. For your own provider for AI, this might be different. But I went to console.claude.com. That forwarded me to platform.claude.com. I clicked create API key and that gave me this. So I'm going to head back to the terminal, paste the key, press enter, and it will continue. This is a very powerful model, Opus 4.7, but I want a balance between speed and reliability. So I'm going to choose Sonnet 4.6. I'm going to say browse all models. That might take a while. It's going to fetch them from Anthropic. I press the up arrow to jump to the bottom of the screen. And it says Claude Sonnet 4.6. That's what I want. So I press enter again. And this is where it's going to greet me with a summary of the available messaging applications. OpenClaw is so popular because it can be used with a plethora of messaging applications, including iMessage for iPhone and macOS, IRC from the good old days, Signal, Slack, Telegram, WhatsApp. We are going to use Telegram because that is the easiest to showcase for a setup. We're going to move down. I'm going to press enter. This is where we're going to need to create a chatbot for Telegram with a Telegram user called the bot father. This is something by Telegram themselves. Make sure you get the actual @bot father, not one of these below, because those are fake. You can confirm that it's the right one because it has millions of users and it has a check mark next to it. We're going to click start at the bottom. We're going to click /new bot because we want to create a new bot. And then I'll say, how do you want to call it? I'm going to say, Timmy, the AI assistant. Now it says pick a unique username ending in bot for Timmy the AI assistant. So I'm going to say Timmy the super nice AI bot. Copy and send. It says great. Here is your token. Use this to connect. So we're going back to our terminal environment. I'm going to select enter Telegram bot token, paste the token, press enter, and it will continue. Now we're greeted with what search provider we want to use. Search providers are used by OpenClaw to fetch information from the internet if it does not have it in the model. Most of these are API based right now. For the sake of brevity and to make things as straightforward as possible, we're going for DuckDuckGo search right now because that does not require an API key and it's less confusing. Then it's going to ask us, do you want to configure skills? So skills are basically packages of tooling and functionality that you can give to your claw in addition to its core functionality. Right now we're going to say yes, and then you'll be greeted with a set of curated skills. There are other skills available, but you can browse through them, see which ones you want, and select with the spacebar. In this case, we're going with Blog Watcher. Blog Watcher is a skill that allows our claw to monitor blogs via RSS, basically fetch new blog content on certain topics that we want and inform us about that if something occurs. I'm going to press enter to confirm my selection for only Blog Watcher, and it's going to install the skill. As you can see, the Blog Watcher skill has been installed. Now it's going to ask us for some final setup steps. The Google Places API key for Go Places, we are not going to use that for now. Whisper API, 11 labs for voice control, we're not going to use that. So then there are hooks. Hooks are automations for your VPS. In this case, we're going to enable the boot MD, the command logger, and the session memory, just to get some insight in what our claw is actually doing. Because again, going back to the first message that we're greeted with, it encourages us to know what we're doing because it's an AI and it can do things on its own. So we're going to press enter. And I was going to install the gateway service. The gateway service is basically the thing that makes OpenClaw work. It has a special configuration file in the .openclaw folder, and it's called openclaw.json. And the website for OpenClaw has all kinds of documentation on how to configure the openclaw.json file and tweak the gateway to your liking. Over to the terminal, you can see that it asks us how we want to hatch our agent. Hatching is basically the birth of our agent. In this case, we want to hatch right now in the terminal. So that's what we're going to do. And then it will ask us who we are, who the agent is, and we can provide it some context. So our agent has just been hatched in the TUI. The TUI stands for Terminal User Interface. And our OpenClaw application sent a message, "Wake up, my friend," to our agent. And it responded. It says, "Hi, who am I, who are you, and what's going on?" So I'm going to say, "You are Timmy, my super nice AI assistant. I am Lawrence, product owner for the VPS product at Team Blue. Your job is to help me do mine as effectively as possible. So this is going to give some context to our assistant Timmy. In a bit, we're going to configure Telegram, and then we will see if the Telegram bot gives us back responses in the context of the information that we just gave it. So whether it still knows who I am and who it is. All right, so now, yeah, it says bootstrap done, files updated, should be good. What are we working on today? So now we're going to head over to Telegram and continue with our bot, Timmy the super nice AI bot. We're going to copy this and paste it in the search bar, and there you'll see there's the bot. We're going to click start at the bottom of the page, and it will be greeted with a code. Be careful to save this code because otherwise I'm not sure, but you might not be able to get it back. There's a command here at the bottom with the code embedded in it, and this will set up the connection between OpenClaw and Telegram. Now for this we're going to type /quit. We're going to exit the TUI. This will keep the gateway running, but basically get us out of the chat interface. So now, right, we're going to paste the command. Right, approved Telegram. So it has been configured. Heading back over here, it should give us back the context that we just gave it. Hi, what is your name? This might take a while. It has to send over my question to the VPS. The VPS is going to take it over to the LLM. The LLM is going to generate a response and push that all the way back to me. There you go. Hey Lawrence, I'm Timmy, your AI assistant. Nice to meet you. Do you remember where I work? Yeah, product owner for the VPS product at Team Blue. So this is great. We've set up our connection between OpenClaw and Telegram. That also means that I can use it on my phone if I desire to do so. So that's great. Now we're going to set up some basic security hygiene on the VPS. And to do so, we're going to head back over to the terminal. So back over here, we're going to shut off all the ports except for the SSH port that we use to manage our VPS and use the TUI. And we're going to keep the gateway port for OpenClaw open. The firewall that we're going to use is called UFW, uncomplicated firewall, and it might be pre-installed already. So I'm going to type which UFW, and it gives back a path of where it is installed. So this confirms that it has been installed. That means that we will be able to type a command that gets us the status right now. So I'm going to type sudo for superuser, UFW status verbose. And it says it's inactive. By the way, any command with sudo will trigger this message. This is harmless. You can ignore this. This is something that you can fix in a config file, but don't be alarmed. It only says status inactive. That means that there are no rules configured. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to type sudo default, sudo ufw default deny incoming. This is going to shut off all the ports for incoming traffic. Policy changed to deny. We still have to open up our SSH port, and we're going to open up our OpenClaw port. So to do so, we're going to type sudo ufw allow SSH. Right, it says rules updated also for IPv6 and allow 187.89 for OpenClaw. So now we're going to enable this configuration. I'm going to type sudo ufw enable. It'll warn us this might disrupt existing SSH connections. If we've misconfigured the firewall settings, we might be locked out of our VPS. If that happens, just head over back to the console, and here you should still have access. So I'm going to type yes, and as you can see, we can still interact with the VPS. It's fine. We're not locked out. Now I'm going to update the SSH server to make sure that it's secure, and the people with who want to connect with the root user, the super user, can't do so. So I'm going to head over to the folder etc ssh sshd config.d, and I'm going to list the contents. And here I see that there's a file here that is going to overrule the main config file here. So we're going to delete this. Yeah, delete. Oh. Let me use sudo because it's write protected. There we go. Now I'm going to head over to the SSH folder and use a text editor. In my case Vim, you might be using Nano, something else, to edit the SSH config file. There we go. And here we can configure the SSH service on this VPS. I'm going to head over here, and I'm going to remove the pound sign, the hashtag, and I'm going to say permit root login no, because we have a user that we can use, that we want to use. You might also want to change the port to something else. Just remind yourself to update the UFW rules. I am going to leave it as it is right now. I think this is okay for now. I'm going to save and quit. And then I'm going to issue these two commands to reload the service and to make the changes effective. Remind yourself to use sudo, because otherwise it will not work. Again, this is going to restart the SSH socket. Again, this might kick you out of the server, but if the firewall rules are set up correctly, then you should be able to get back in. I'm still in. So let's see if we can still use our OpenClaw gateway. I'm going to call OpenClaw TUI, press enter. And if that still works, then we should be good. It just fetched the session that we ran. And I'm going to type, are you still there? Yeah, still here. So the OpenClaw port is still open and functioning as expected. I'm going to type quit. I'm going to type exit to get out of the VPS. I'm going to press the up arrow to try to reconnect, and if this succeeds, then the SSH port is also set up correctly. Finally, because we've installed some software, I'm going to update the repositories and update and install any security patches. So I'm going to type sudo apt update -y and sudo apt upgrade y. And this is going to fetch from the standard repositories any new information and install any outstanding upgrades. So nothing has been upgraded, nothing was ready. So this means the VPS is basically up to date. And that concludes our session of today, where we installed OpenClaw, we ordered a VPS, we made sure that we connected it to Telegram, that we can use it via the web interface. Mobile should work too if you're logged into the same Telegram account. We secured the VPS and we configured the firewall. So with that, I want to thank you very much for attending today's session. Have fun with your OpenClaw and see you next time. Bye!